Looks like US Cellular is bringing some new technologies to home internet, some options for people in some places that are underserved and don't really have options. So they've got fixed wireless coming up and it looks good. I think they do run fixed wireless, but we're looking at a new technology for them. All right. So what this is going to be is this is going to be a 5G fixed wireless service through millimeter wave spectrum. They've got it going on. It's launched officially in 10 markets and there are more coming. So here are some of the technical pieces of the story. All right, for those of you that have followed the channel for several years, like 3, 4 years, I've covered every spectrum auction dating back to probably I guess the 600 megahertz spectrum auction where T-Mobile pretty much got most of it. And since then, we've seen things like midband get auctioned, millimeter wave, that's been a big piece. And we were always shocked to learn how these smaller regional providers were successfully acquiring these licenses in the millimeter wave. And it didn't make sense to us at the time, maybe, but now I think it's kind of coming together and it does make a lot of sense. They're going to be utilizing the higher millimeter wave frequencies for home internet as a fixed wireless option. So in this instance, US Cellular, which operates a lot of Midwest markets as a regional provider, they've got spectrum from Spectrum Auctions 101 and 102 with frequencies in 24 and 28 gigahertz bands, and this is the perfect use case for it. They also did get some spectrum in Spectrum Auction 103 in the higher frequencies like 37, 39, and 47 gigahertz. Very, very high frequencies here. We're talking about microwave, and with considerable spectrum depth. In some instances, they're averaging 400 megahertz per market. You can create some pretty incredible capacity. Pricing for the service starting at $50 a month. That'll get you 50 megabits of service. That's kind of disappointing. Uh, with the type of bandwidth that's there, I mean, they can probably do a lot better than that. 150 megabits per second will cost you $65. 300 megabits per second will cost you 85. Now, the only reason why this is, I guess we'll call it expensive, is you look at what Verizon is charging. They're charging like 25 to $50, for similar services. Is there's probably no other options there, so they're gonna take advantage of that, and they've got to fund this and pay for it. This is a capital heavy investment for them. It's a brand new technology for them, and they've got to build it out. 10 markets where they offer this: East Moline, Rock Island, Illinois, Bettendorf, Cedar Falls, Davenport, Du- Dubuque, Waterloo, Iowa, Yakima, Washington, Beloit, and Janesville, Wisconsin. And there are dozens more markets coming in 2022, including Springfield, Tipton, Knoxville, Kenosha, Milwaukee, according to this press release. All right, so I was speaking to the CapEx a little bit. All right, so this was actually a quote from US Cellular. To justify unsubsidized investment, we must be able to reach several hundred homes and businesses per tower. All right, 150 subscribers at $65 a month to equip an existing tower with necessary equipment, or approximately 500 subs to build a new tower. And we can't assume that everyone will adopt the service. This density is rare in unserved and underserved locations, which is a key driver of the current digital divide. Looks to me like they've got their hand out looking for support and help to subsidize this build. So they're willing to do it, but the economics might not be there, which explains probably why they're going to have to pick their spots in these markets where they think they can penetrate it well. But it could work for them. And honestly, the speeds aren't great. They're probably going to have to kick up backhaul, and that's probably the expensive piece. They're going to have to run high capacity fiber to these sites in order to do what 400 megahertz of millimeter wave can do, which is probably 2 gigabits per second. And who knows what the uplink restriction is in this case, but they didn't mention the uplink speed. But I'd assume it's probably, I don't know, 10, 20 megabits per second uplink at the tops. I'm not sure. I'll do a follow-up story on this. Let me know if you're in these markets, if you're interested. Let me know what you think of the restrictions, the CapEx issue, limitations, the speed tiers, the pricing. Love to hear what you guys have to say. You are the voice of the people, the SMT Nation. Let your voice be heard. I think some people out there probably just happy to have some options over DSL or satellite. But you guys let me know. Like, share, subscribe for more, and turn on the bell notifications to never miss an upload. And more stories like this. Links in the description for my Patreon